All right, thank you for showing up tonight. I'm so excited to share with you. We are sharing another tips Zoom, but what I thought I'd do a little different tonight is start from kind of A to Z. So I've got a couple of clients that are going to be speaking that are very new to their journey. I've got a couple of clients that are, kind of in the middle of their journey. And then I've got one on here that is going into, or she may have already gone into maintenance. She's a client down in depth in our group, and they're going to share with you their best tips from each part of their journey. And my name is Shauna Davis. I am a certified Optavia coach, and I have been coaching for 5 years. I started my journey in 2017, 17, somewhere in that ballpark, and fell in love with Optavia immediately. I told my coach, one of the first things I told her was, don't ask me to coach, and I'm out of here as soon as I lose my weight. And 2 weeks later, I was coaching other people. I was so excited about this program. And I know for some of you who are early on, you're just thrilled with your progress so far. This is one of the most amazing programs I've ever had the opportunity to do and to watch other people grow through. So really excited to have each of you here tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to call on Laurie first. She is one of the new clients in our group, and I want you to hear from her what her best tip is. Laurie?
Hi everyone. It's really nice to be here tonight. I'm on day 16 and I've lost 11.1, 11.2 pounds. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think I'll give you a little bit of my background so you can appreciate what I think my tip is to offer tonight. And I come from a healthcare background. I was a healthcare executive in a large academic medical center and did that for over 30, almost 40 years. And so my life was really hectic, long days, long commutes, involved with a ton of people every day, and really never stopped to think much about food planning. So I'll start by saying that food planning has been really a fun thing for me. I retired in September of 2020, and it really took me about a year to exhale and to feel, anything really. I was still pretty numb after all that time. And I went on this ride for myself of never denying myself anything, just saying yes to everything. Yes to fun, yes to food, yes to restaurants. I just really had no limits. And what I found is I was feeling really low, no energy, excuse me, my mood was poor. I wasn't getting any exercise, and I was really just, I think, almost sedating myself with food. And I have to say, I'd followed Frank a bit on LinkedIn and saw a lot of those wonderful transformations and connected with him and started on the 5-in-1 plan. And I'm really keeping it simple because I find that that's my kind of mantra for this part of my life. And I've not gone out and done a lot of the recipes or things. What I'm finding is wonderful is the structure of the program, the ability to look in my pantry, pick 5 fuelings, look ahead for maybe the next 3 days, go to the grocery store, keep just the protein and the veggies in the house that I want to eat in the next 3 days. And just keeping it simple, not having my fridge overloaded with food. Because I think my issue was, quantity. And so really portion control is, where I feel I'm going to grow the most, is really appreciating what is a healthy amount of food to eat. And so I'm keeping it simple. I'm doing a lot of planning. And I'm really relieved that I'm not going to overeat today or tomorrow. And I'm relieved that I know what my plan is. So I spent all those years planning for everyone else, and now I feel like I'm putting the energy into planning for myself. And for now, keeping it simple. Although I do really like that egg roll in a bowl recipe, so it looks so tempting. I might try that next week. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. And
I love that, Laurie. Keeping it simple and meal planning. Meal prepping is something that we're all kind of afraid of, but it is your friend when you are on this program, and it's just one meal a day, right, Laurie?
right.
It's
Yeah,
easy to do.
I've had some veggies in the middle of the day if I'm feeling like I want to chew,
Mhm.
or something like crunchy. Um, but all the, how to figure out the condiments and all that stuff is a little beyond me right now. So I'm really just sticking to the basics.
Yeah,
So, and
that's a
thank you
good
for your
idea.
help, Shauna and Frank. It's been really nice to meet you, and
Oh,
I
a
like the
pleasure.
program so far. Thank you.
A pleasure. And love the tip, keeping it simple. That's so important. So I hope y'all are taking notes because this is such good stuff tonight. Hearing every time I hear tips, I hear something new, even if it's the same thing I heard a few weeks ago. Just the delivery of somebody else saying it, a lot of times it just sounds so fresh and new. Okay, so the second person I'm going to call is Michelle. Michelle has been on the program just about a month, maybe not quite a month. So another new client. Michelle, you want to come off of mute?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I, like Shauna said, I've been on the program just short of a month, about 3 weeks now, and I've lost 12 pounds. And it was really exciting. I'll tell you, I was living in DC and went to New York. My boss sent me to New York to work, and I was there for probably about not quite a year when the pandemic hit.
Mhm.
And when the pandemic hit, I'm living in New York where there's so many people. And so all of the outdoorsy things, all the movement in addition to work just went from 10 all the way down to 0 really rapidly. During that time, because I was there by myself, everything over just a really quick time shut down. So I couldn't take my walks. I couldn't do any exercise. Everything just, was still. And then so was I. And in that downtime, I started, I'm not eating as healthy because I'm moving less. And next thing you know, I'm just gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight, gaining weight. And then I wound up having to come back to Washington, D.C. for work. And I got back here and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't fit anything. I've just been sedentary. I haven't been doing much at all. And so I just was watching Shauna and Frank on LinkedIn as well and on Facebook. And, I wanted to do it. And so Frank reached out and I said, yes, I would love to be a part of this program and introduce me to Shauna, who has been just amazing, a wonderful coach you are. I want to thank you because, in the beginning, it isn't easy. You're really changing your lifestyle. You're changing how you eat. You're having to change how you think. And so I started this journey mentally because I just wasn't feeling myself, mentally, physically, I just wasn't where I was used to being. So I was so excited. I kind of pre-started the program by changing my eating habits, even though, some of the things that I was eating the week prior uh, is not on the program, but I learned what I need to be eating. And it really is a lifestyle change. And creating those good habits. So, what I've learned to do and what I'd like to share is, when you start this journey to really just reward yourself, you're worth it. You have to tell yourself these positive things because, it's not going to always be easy, in changing habits. So just remember to tell yourself you're worth it and then take the necessary steps to plan, keeping it simple. Grab that grocery list and go down that list and study it and then go to this grocery store and then stick to that list. And if you do that, you don't veer off, and I would say do a fueling before you go so you're not as hungry. And so if you do your fueling and go, then that even helps you stay motivated to stay on that list and only shop those items. And then enjoy the journey. That first week, Shauna really helped me get through that. And I really just learned to enjoy the journey and learn, what my habits are, why I'm thinking about food, the way I'm thinking about food. and changing that, really realizing, is this a craving, or am I stress eating? Like, what's really happening here? Because I am very busy and I wear a lot of hats in my role. And so, in doing that, I really recognize this is stress eating, or you know what, this is just a craving, because I have so much going on right now. So I would say reward yourself, enjoy the journey, take the necessary steps, and then watch your body change. And while your body's changing, your mind is changing. You can't separate the two. What affects the body affects the mind, and what affects the mind affects your body. And so as you're losing these pounds, you're feeling good, your clothes are fitting better, you're feeling more confident. And it's really you just doing simple things. It's changing what you eat and how you cook it. And so reward yourself by, taking walks, spending time with friends, and doing all the things that, we have been denied doing. I know, I couldn't do anything while I was in New York. So being back here and being on this program is really a game changer for me. And so the last thing I like to share is enjoy where you are on the way to where you're going. Don't try to rush through it. Don't tell yourself or feed yourself negativities. It's a daily thing. It's a daily goal. It's literally step by step, and every day, you're going to have challenges, you're going to have oppositions, and when they come, face it, deal with it. And as you do that, you'll enjoy that journey. And when you get a week in, a 2-week in, 3 weeks in, you'll look back, you'll look at yourself, and you'll say, wow, I mean, what a journey. I did that. I was
So good.
successful. So I would like for those to be your takeaways.
So good. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was amazing. And I can tell you she is busy, because she doesn't miss our weekly check-ins, and she's usually getting off the subway and on her way home from there. So she makes sure she checks in. Did you hear a lot of mindset there? Really speaking to yourself positively, changing your mindset, being happy for where you are in your journey. Great tips. Thank you so much for sharing. This is the first time I think we've seen each other. I'm excited. I love seeing clients for the first time. Usually it's
It is
via
our first
Zoom.
time.
I love it. Okay, the next person I'm going to call on is a precious client that's down in depth in my organization. Adelle, would love for you to come off of mute and share with us. Adelle is kind of, she's been on the journey, what, about 3 months now?
13 weeks. Yep.
13 weeks. Go ahead and share, Adelle.
Hi, everyone. My name's Adelle. I've been on the program for 13 weeks. I've said goodbye to 33 pounds and had a lot of really nice non-scale victories too. So seeing my blood pressure go down significantly yesterday was a huge win for me. That was one of my goals starting off. So I wanted to share some tips based on being at this point in the program where you've had some wins, you're starting to feel really good, but you've still got some ways to go. And I think my main tip, if I was to narrow it down, would be when you reach this point, you've got to be ready to fight complacency on all levels. So it's meant for me that I've really put an effort into sticking with my tracking. Both of my coaches, so Shauna and my coach, my sister-in-law, Barbara, both know that I'm quite obsessive about tracking, but to me, it's made such a difference in terms of it helps reward me each time I write down a fueling, each time I take note of a water that I've had. It makes me feel good because I'm on track. But it also helps me record where I've maybe stuffed up, where I've had that piece of cake that maybe I didn't want to have. And I'll make myself write it down. And I know a couple hours from now, the next fueling, I'm back. So it's that sense of I use the tracker to help me move forward as well as simply recording things. And it keeps reinforcing to me. I think one of my favorite lines so far in some of the reading has been about progress, not perfection. Because I've attempted other programs like this with my perfection mindset. And I don't get out of the mindset. That negativity just goes with me and I crash and burn. So being able to come back to, I'm making progress every time I put something on that tracker. And I've tried the app, but I do like just the paper version of my tracker, and I have it right there in the kitchen where I can see it. The other way to fight complacency is to keep weighing your lean and green. I a couple of times started to veer off that a little bit and saw less coming off each week. And it was one of my tips from a coach, to kind of keep going with the weighing. The other thing I would mention is, I think one of the things that I've really seen change in my behavior with myself is replacing the negative talk with coach talk. So if I feel myself playing the old tape to myself, you're never going to change this and blah, 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 I think, hang on, what would my coach say to me right now? She wouldn't talk to me like that, right? She would be kind to me and she would show me some grace. And I need to do that for myself as well. Thank you.
Adelle, I love that. I love that. And don't you love her accent? I love talking to you.
What accent? I don't have an accent.
I love it. Complacency. I'm so glad you talked about that, because it is a danger zone. It is a danger zone that we all can get to. We haven't had 20 or 30 or 40 pounds off in as long as we can remember. It's off. And a lot of us get complacent and we're like, you know what? I feel pretty good here. This is okay. But did you hear Adelle? What I love that she does, if she has a bite of something that she was like later, like, darn it, she doesn't blow her whole day. Her next 2 to 3 hour spot, she is right back with her fuelings. And that is a really big sign of progress, because what did most of us do way before this program? If we ate something, we usually blew the whole weekend or the whole week, right? Mm. Love that. That's so important, Adelle. And thank you so much. In tracking, I think we did one of these on tracking a few months back. One of the most important things you can do is track everything, because it does keep you focused. Thank you so much. That was fabulous. Okay, the next speaker is Maggie, and she is also down in depth in our group. And I'm so excited for Maggie because she's just rocking her program. Maggie, I don't see everybody because we've got 5-6 pages here. Goodness. If you'll come off of mute, we can find you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Shauna. I am so excited to share just a little bit. I'm also nervous, so bear with me if I stumble a little bit. But just a quick background on me. I'm Maggie. I have 4 beautiful children that I am blessed to be able to stay home with them. My husband is a fireman. He's on shift today. So my 4 are playing nicely right now. We're going to cross our fingers that World War III doesn't break out for at least the next couple minutes. But I am in the middle of my journey, like a lot of you, probably. I just let life go. I just went with the flow. I didn't prioritize my health. I gained weight every time with each pregnancy. I didn't lose it in between. And I got into a really bad place with my health. And so at the end of October 2022, I made a decision to prioritize my health, and I reached out to my coach and got started. Since then, I've lost 37 pounds. So I'm very excited with that. My energy level is so much better. I feel better. My clothes fit better, but I still have about 30 pounds to go until I get to my goal. So I'm right in the middle, and that's where I hope my tip reaches, but I hope everybody can get something out of it. And a lot of it is kind of similar to what Adelle mentioned. So my biggest thing is, at the beginning, we talk about our why so much, and we all have our why. And when we were going through that, we all made a commitment to ourselves and to our health. And we committed to this program, because it's a proven program. The system is there for us to succeed. So when you get into the middle, kind of like Adelle was mentioning, we all have that voice in our head, and that voice can be pretty persuasive. It sneaks in there, but it's not always telling us the truth. And so some things that voice can tell you in the middle is, well, you still have so far to go. Are you really going to make it? Is it worth it? Like, aren't you happy? Couldn't you be happy with this? And when those things happen and that voice sneaks in, just sticking to the system. So getting in your life book and your habits of health. When I'm feeling a little off, just a couple of minutes in those books, I always find something that I need that brings me back to that commitment I made and why I made that commitment. And then staying in touch with your coach. That part, that little voice in your head can also start telling you that they don't need to talk to me this week. I don't need to talk to anybody this week. Nothing happened, or I've asked too many questions through the week. I'm not going to sign up for my check-in. But that's not true. Your coach is so important to your success, and they want you to succeed so bad. They're there for you. So don't let that voice tell you that. Schedule that check-in and do the phone call, even when you're not sure you want to. It's worth it. And then my third one was exactly what Adelle talked about, was your tracking. When we first get started, we track. We're a little bit nervous. We want to make sure we're doing everything right and checking all those boxes. But you get to the middle and you think you have it figured out. Like, I know what I'm doing, or I know what my servings look like, or I know how much water I've had. But every time I fall away from my tracking and then get back to it, I notice that something was falling through the cracks. It may be different each time, but something I was missing. So stay with that tracking. And I had one more little tidbit. I don't know where I am on time, but so my second tip is that if you have a heart for the mission, and you've maybe you're in the middle, maybe you're at the beginning, maybe you're at the end, but if some little part has thought, maybe I could help somebody, don't be afraid to have that conversation with your coach. They're not going to push you. They're going to answer your questions. But if you do want to step into coaching, it is so rewarding for yourself and for your clients. And it also is motivating.
Mm.
So that may or may not be for you, but if it is, and you've had that little thought, don't be afraid to ask the question. So to sum it all up, don't be scared to commit and recommit as many times as you need to. Work the system. And I think that's all I got. Thank you, Shauna.
Love that. Thank you so much, Maggie. I'm so excited. Okay, 4 kids. Husband, thank your husband for his service, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
What a selfless field to go into. And don't we all love a fireman? Come on, ladies, right? Yes. Sorry, guys, but firemen's a pretty boss. 4 kids, she's busy. And she's finding time to help others along the way. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Heidi posted Never Say Never, another client that said never, never, never to me and has stepped in because so many people wanted to know what the heck she was doing. So excited. Okay, I have one more speaker, and Stephanie is at the end of her journey into maintenance, and she's had a beautiful journey, and I want her to share with you some of her best tips for going into maintenance and rocking that part of your journey. Stephanie, you want to come off mute?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Stitt. I've been on the program since March 28th of 2022. I've lost 62 pounds on the program, and I've lost 80 pounds since January of 2020. So it's been a great journey. And now that I'm at the end, you think, oh, I finally made it to my goal and this is awesome. But it's a little bit scary if you think about it, because it's not, now what am I going to do? Because I've failed at so many diets and I've gained back weight. What am I going to do to keep this off? So first of all, you need to be in the book. Section 2.8 is where the transition talk is, and you need to know it and understand it and just keep reading over it and reinforcing what you need to do. So, having 9 months of been on the program and knowing exactly what you need to eat and when you need to eat it, and then suddenly you're thinking, well, now I have to add extra vegetables. Now I have to add extra fruit. Now I get to add dairy. What am I going to add? If I eat too much, am I going to gain weight? It's just very conflicting as to what to do. But the book kind of leads you through week by week what you're supposed to do. I'm in week 5 of the 6 weeks transition, And I've actually lost a little bit more weight through the transition. And my coach, Chris, told me that that would happen, and that's typical. So it's exciting to be in that part of the transition. But I'm kind of a broken record now because I've had 4 great people going before me with their tips, and my tips are very similar to theirs. So my first one was to say, have a plan. So planning what you're going to have at the grocery store, because how much do you need to buy now, because you're not having fuelings all the time, because now I'm down to 3 fuelings a day. How much whole grain, adding that this week, is like, well, if I go and I can only have half of a whole wheat bagel, or not a bagel, whole wheat English muffin, if I buy a package, that's 12 days of English muffins. Like, I can't go out and buy any other whole grain, because I can't eat all of that in a week. So you can't go overboard. But then at the same time, you're buying more dairy, and you have to have a cup of dairy. So if you're going to have yogurt, you need to have 7 yogurts for the week. So, it's very difficult to start this over again as like what food you need to buy. And it's more expensive too. So it's almost like, oh, I miss my fuelings because now I'm having to spend more money on groceries. So, but, having a plan, sticking to the plan, making sure you have enough, but not too much. That's the first step. And then the second step, like has already been said, have a tracker, because as you're starting into the transition, you're adding calories to your day. And it could be so easy to get over the allotted calories. You need to understand what your T score is for your body, and not to go over those calories. And if you have a Fitness Pal app, like MyFitnessPal or other apps, it can actually calculate the calories and your macronutrients as well, so that you know where you are with protein and fat and carbs. So I highly recommend that. And then the last thing is what's already been recommended to, if you haven't signed up to be a coach, it's a great time as you move into transition, and even before, to be a coach, because it's going to hold you accountable and help you stay on track as you're helping other people with their goal as well.
Wow.
And
I
that's it.
love that. Thank you so much, Stephanie. And it's a learning curve. So just like when you come on the program, it's a learning curve and it feels daunting. Going into transition is a learning curve, but it's so liberating and so freeing to be able now to make better choices, and to know you have all the knowledge that you need from your Habits of Health book and your life book to make those good decisions, and to go into transition, feeling like you are in total control, and just really proud of yourself. So girls, that was so good tonight. You have shared such amazing tips. I've been coaching 5 years, y'all. And I had some tips written down because I figured somebody's going to miss these things. Every single one of them, these girls went over. So they told you everything I would have said, and I've been coaching 5 years. So amazing job. Thank you so much. So we're going to open it up. I would love for y'all to either pop off, raise your little hand down at the bottom under reactions. You can raise a hand and it'll pop you up to the top of the screen so that I know that you have a question. Or if you have a tip that you think you want to share, now's the time to do it. We'd love to hear from some of you. And don't be shy, because this is always kind of an awkward time where nobody really wants to jump out and go first. So who's the brave soul tonight? And if you can't find your hand, you can just come off of mute and start talking if you'd like. Girls, there are so many.
Donna, I'll go if you want
Can
me
you hear
to.
me?
Okay.
Go ahead, whoever that was.
That's okay. It was me. I was just going to mention that one of the biggest things for me is that negative voice in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I named mine Negative Nelly. And so we have to kick Negative Nelly to the curb.
Love that.
And just tell her where she belongs.
I
And
love
so
that.
I know everybody deals with a Negative Nelly. They may have a different name,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's my one little tip.
That power of positive speaking to yourself is amazing. Would y'all put like a 10 in the chat if this was gold for you tonight? If you really got something good. I saw a lot of people taking notes. Look at that. Yes. Yes, thank you. That's just some encouragement for the girls that spoke. Does anybody else want to, give a tip or ask a question before we sign off here tonight?
I would like to say something.
Okay, Bonnie.
Hi, never give up,
Right.
okay? You may feel like you're gonna give up, you may really want to give up, you may question yourself, am I good enough? I failed before, this negative Nelly thing. Just keep coming back to your why and keep asking yourself. You can be your own coach. That's one of the big things that I've been learning. I can be my own coach and ask myself those questions. And if I'm not sure or I want some validation, nothing wrong with that. Have a conversation with your coach or somebody else in your group and move through it.
Love that.
So don't give up.
I love that. Don't give up, never give up. And I can tell you, I know Bonnie personally. She is amazing. So wise words from a wise woman. Thank you, Bonnie. Well, we are at 8:30, so I'm going to respect your time. This has been so much fun. And didn't you just love all the girls and what they said tonight? Love it. I learned something every time. So a lot of self-talk. Remember that. Keep it positive. Don't give up. Track, track, track. Stay in your book. Remember your why. Oh my gosh, I've got so many notes here. I have positive self-talk quite a bit on my notes, and beware of that complacency place if you're getting toward the middle of your journey or even the end. Y'all have a fabulous night, and we'll hopefully see y'all next Tuesday. Bye-bye.